Hey guys, Mac here. I'm taking you through a full 100% walkthrough of a game called The Park, recently available for Xbox One. I'll be showing you how to get all 1000 gamer score in one playthrough in about 45 minutes. However long this video is how long the playthrough takes me. I'm guessing it's going to take me around 45 minutes. I'm going to speed run through it. I'm going to make sure to skip everything that's not necessary, grab all of the missable achievements along the way, to make sure you guys can grab them as fast as possible and not waste your time. So we just started a new game, and from the very beginning we're gonna get one of the missable achievements out of the way, and it's called The Mist, and it's for exiting the park. Don't worry, I won't be talking through the whole video, so you won't be too annoyed. But from the spawn, just turn to the right hand side, go down into the road, past the gate, and then up the hill all the way to the very top. You'll be consumed by some mist, and you'll gain your first missable achievement out of 4 possible ones. And then you actually have to restart the game, start a new game, overwrite your save, and reload back into the game. Because this is a live recording, excuse the lack of intro and outro. And again, I won't be talking through the whole game. I will just be visiting in and out of commentary when there's like important things happening on screen. Like I said, the game should take around 45 minutes, and here's our first achievement. Reload the game into a new save once you're done.
No, I have things I need to do in the park.
Okay, so for whatever reason, I didn't have to reload my game. The first time that happened to me, I got stuck in the mist and I couldn't find a way out of the mist. So I ended up having to restart my game. So if you get lucky enough, just walk out of the mist. If you don't get lucky enough, like I did myself the first time, yeah. So just make your way to the information desk and then make your way into the park.
Attention, patrons. The park is now closed. Please make your way to the car park at your earliest convenience. Employees prepare the park for shutdown.
Fortunately, you can't really skip any of the cinematics, and there are some parts of walk and talk that you can't sprint through, but for the most part, we can sprint through the entire game pretty quickly.
Hey, Lorraine. Lorraine. Don't blame yourself, Lorraine.
Go to the settings and invert my controller and put subtitles on for you. Visual guidance also helps. And we'll turn up the gamma so that all the dark bits don't appear as dark to you guys.
People lose things all the time. Take a deep breath and think about the last place you saw your son's teddy bear. Hey, stop! I think your boy just ran into the park. I'll unlock the gates for you.
Alright, now we can enter the park after talking to the guy at the information desk, and we should get our second achievement, which is for entering the park. You can press B to like look around and see what is examinable in the world, but literally we'll examine about 3 things, and they're all mandatory. Otherwise, you don't need to examine anything. Go onto the escalator and wait for this part to end.
About the entrance to an amusement park. A line drawn between the real world and the world of whimsy within. On this side, the apathy of our everyday lives. And on the other, anything we might dare to dream. It's no wonder Callum ran back inside. I wouldn't want to leave either.
Attention, employees. The park is now closed. Have a safe journey home.
Alright, so The Park is a linear storytelling game similar to games like Gone Home, where the game's incredibly linear. Really, there's only one way to beat it, and you have to follow the exact set of rules it wants you to. As soon as you enter, go left down the path, you'll notice the house with the giant screaming head on it. That's the last place we'll visit, but before we can visit there, we'll have to go through all the other attractions in the park. There's a lot of maps you can view along the way. just follow the left-hand path past the house to the Tunnel of Love? Tunnel of Tales. And once we're there, just ride the Swan, and I'll rejoin you back with commentary there. Obviously, if it's not obvious already, you can click in the left stick to sprint instead of walk. During certain sections of the game, you are forced to walk, but otherwise you should always be sprinting.
Callum, stay where you are.
So now we wait for one of these swans to approach us. Once it stops, just interact with it by pressing A to ride the swan through the Tunnels of Tales. Now, there is a missable achievement in the tunnels. The entire ride lasts about 7 minutes. About a minute and a half in, there's a guy named Chad dressed in like a squirrel suit. You have to look at Chad to get a missable achievement. If you miss it, you'll get off the ride and then you can just get right back on, which is what I did my first time through. But literally you can leave your controller, just look to the left-hand side as much as you can, and make sure you're not looking too much up or too much down. If you're looking as much to the left as possible, you can literally now go take a snack break for the next 7 minutes, come back, and you'll just be getting off the ride. So about a minute and a half through, there will be a guy in a squirrel suit on the left. If you look at him for about 5 seconds, you'll grab your second before missable achievements, and then you just have to wait till the ride completes, and we can proceed from there. So I'll rejoin you once the ride's done.
A boy named Hansel and a girl named Gretel. They were very poor and had very little to bite or sup. What will become of us? The woodcutter asked his wife one night. I tell you what, husband, we will take the children into the thickest part of the forest tomorrow and abandon them there. No, my wife, I cannot do that, said the man. Then we will all four starve, you fool.
So you can see Chad's head appearing on the left-hand side of the screen. Just make sure you're looking at him as you pass by.
Do not fret, Gretel, Hansel said. He crept out of the hut and gathered white stones from the ground to fill his pockets. The next morning, the woodcutter leads the children into the forest. Before they leave, their mother gives them a slice of bread and warns them that they will get no more food that day. Clever Hansel leaves a trail of white stones behind them as they pass into the woods. When their father leaves them, the children wait a while, then follow the trail back to their parents' house. After receiving a thorough scolding from their parents for getting lost in the woods, the children are sent to bed without any supper. Hansel tried to sneak out and collect more white stones, but found that the door was locked. Tomorrow I will take them into the woods myself, the wife told the woodcutter. In the morning, their mother gave them a slice of bread and led them deep into the forest once again. Hansel broke his bread into pieces and left a trail of breadcrumbs to lead them safely home. But hungry-eyed birds snatched up the breadcrumbs and his trail was destroyed. Abandoned by their parents and unable to find the trail home, the children wandered in the forest for 3 days. The children stumbled into a clearing with an exceedingly strange house. Its walls were made of gingerbread, and its windows were panes of clear sugar. Hansel, desperately hungry, ran forward and began to nibble on the walls. little mouse? Who's nibbling at my house? An old woman emerged from the house, sniffing the air and peering around with cloudy eyes. Oh, you dear children, who brought you here? Just come in and stay with me. No harm will come to you. But Hansel and Gretel stayed back, for the old woman reminded them of their cruel mother. Come, children, don't be afraid. I have something for you. The old woman offered them 2 enormous lollipops. The children took them and began to eat. You see, nothing to fear here. Come inside, the old woman urged, and the children, still licking their sweets, followed. Once inside the house, the old woman changed. She stuffed Hansel into a cage and put Gretel to work, sweeping and cleaning her hut. Your brother will make a good mouthful, the old witch told Gretel. Once he is fattened up, I shall feast upon him. Time passed, and poor Hansel refused to eat, fearing the day that the witch would eat him. The witch, for her part, grew impatient. Today I will cook and eat your brother, Gretel. Climb inside and light the oven. But Gretel pretended not to understand. I do not know how. Where is the opening? Fool, the old witch said. The opening is here. And she moved to show Gretel. Seizing her courage, brave Gretel gave the witch a shove, and the old crone tumbled forward into the oven. Gretel slid a large iron bolt over the door to the oven. Gretel freed her brother Hansel, and together they lit a fire beneath the oven. And though she screamed and begged, the children sat by the oven until her screams had stilled, and the witch was cooked. And then, because even children can't survive on sweets, they divided up the body of the old witch and ate her.
Alright, so this game does save every once in a while. I don't know why, because you can't really go back to your, you can continue the game, but there's no checkpoints, you can't really lose. At this point, you should have, we'll just double check, 4 achievements worth 300 gamer score, if you want to just triple check that you have all those. If you did, get the missed one at the beginning. As soon as we get off, we're going to go for the octopus ride where we can find a 3rd missable achievement. And to do that, just exit where we entered the swan ride from and go up the left-hand path. As you're talking, you can't run, and then there will be an accident up the road where you can't run again. Just make your way to the octopus ride, and I'll rejoin you there.
House made of candy, looking for the sweetness that could take the pain away. Hunger leads people to desperate, terrible places where the tree branches reach like claws. Another accident. This place.
So we can't actually ride the octopus ride. It's just kind of there. You do have to come through here. But as you enter, we have to exit on the opposite side. But there is a picture we have to pick up very close to the exit of where we're supposed to go. So you see that archway right there. That's where we're supposed to go to get towards our next objective. Before we go there, make sure you pick up this photo right here. It's of yourself and your son, and that is another achievement. Then follow down through this and make your way to the bumper cars.
Treachery that lashes like a whip and scars our insides. The first time I saw Callum, my thoughts betrayed me. I looked down at this wrinkled, red, bawling thing and I thought, is that it? We build our world from expectations, and the world that I had built for Callum was no different. He was so real, so there, and so far from my expectations. And they shattered, and as they fell in pieces, that one treacherous thought became a new foundation. All of the love that we shared, all of the warmth and goodness that followed, built on a single traitorous thought.
Alright, once at the bumper cars, you'll see two arches. I recommend you go through the right-hand side arch. And you'll see a bumper car here completely off the track. So obviously that's where they're supposed to go. There's this one off the track with a sparking device. Examine the device to get your 4th missable achievement or trophy if this game's... Is this game available on PlayStation? I'm not exactly sure. I think it is. But I don't think it's a platinum trophy. Anyways, examine the device. It'll start like a nightmare, which you'll get an achievement for. Alright, after that, we have to progress the story. To do so, all these next achievements are mandatory as you go through the game, but I'll be showing you how to complete the game, like, in a blast, the fastest way possible, skipping everything you wouldn't, that's unnecessary. So what you want to do is, as soon as you gain control of your character, sprint to the very back of the bumper cars and interact with the accident report on this bumper car here in the back. So that bumper car just revealed a new path for us to a Ferris wheel. You can see it off in the distance. We're just going to make our way to the Ferris wheel now.
It's a matter of public record that I am a failure as a mother. Once, when Callum was very small, I left him asleep in the car while I ran an errand. Don't even remember what it was. When I came back, the sheriff was standing next to the car, watching my boy through the window. I didn't like what I saw in his eyes. Judgment. He wrote me the ticket without saying a word. Just the scratch of his pen on the notepad. When he gave it to me, our eyes met. I know what you're going through. My daughter, Helen, she... just get some help. Help was a bolt of lightning. Help was 1,000 volts surging through my veins. Help is agony. I'd rather die. I wanted to scream. I'd rather you pulled your gun and shot me. But instead my mouth said, yes, Sheriff.
Alright, so now we gotta get on the Ferris wheel. To do so, you'll see that the Ferris wheel is moving. If you try to go on the Ferris wheel while it's moving, you get like a, I can't do this. So instead of doing that, just go into the booth and press decrease speed on this lever. Just press it. I think you have to like actually trigger it 3 times or so to get the Ferris wheel to completely stop. Once it completely stops, approach this guy, ride the Ferris wheel. It'll start the Ferris wheel part of the game, and this part lasts about 2 minutes. You don't need to do anything specific as you're riding the Ferris wheel, so just wait.
People come into your life for a reason. Dad used to say that before Mom ran off. After that, he mostly just drank. Things were different for Don and I. When we met, I was sweeping the floor at Susie's diner. He came in with some workers, but he didn't try to flirt or cop a feel like the others. He just ordered a coffee and sat there, watching me. When my shift was over, he offered to walk me home. I don't know how to describe that walk. We talked and laughed and eventually kissed. It felt like love. It felt like a fairy tale. I can't tell you if Callum was made that night or one of the ones that followed. But I think it has to be that night. That one perfect night. Don and I moved in together, but then, well, he died. According to the supervisor, his safety harness failed when he was working on the top of the Ferris wheel. Don was there one moment, and then gone. Sometimes people leave your life for no reason. I was 3 months pregnant with Callum. Fairy tale fucking over.
Alright, now that we're off the Ferris wheel, we just have to interact with a specific item in order to progress the story. So if we go to the right-hand side, follow the path down the hill, you'll notice that there is a Ferris wheel cart at the bottom, and there's like a fence that we can't cross. But inside of this cart, there's a piece of paper. If you read it, it'll trigger a cinematic, which is mandatory, and then you can proceed with the story.
A lot of people idolize their children. You hear them talking about their kids and just the way they talk, their fucking voices make me want to vomit. My angel likes to read, and little Johnny is so good on the piano. Fuck those people! You give up 9 months of your life carrying them, you traumatize yourself giving birth to them, and then you spend the rest of your life as their slave. Wiping asses, mopping up piss, feeding them. Little life-sucking monsters who take and take and take until... we all go insane. Any parent who pretends otherwise is just dishonest. That's called choice supportive bias. I am honest. Callum really grinds my gears, and he owes me everything. Everything. It served the little fuck right if I just abandoned him. I always wanted to ride this one. Never got around to do it before.
Alright, so we made it to the roller coaster. Just go up the stairs through the open gate, ride the roller coaster. It takes about 2 minutes. You don't have to do anything while on it.
What do you want?
We need to talk about Callum.
What do you mean? What have you done to him?
That's insulting. You and your boy are everything that this place doesn't want. The antithesis of what we stand for.
Where is Callum?
The poor child. He tried so hard to do what he was taught. He even left you a trail of breadcrumbs. But the park is just so hungry.
Tell me where my son is.
The witch has him now. Has both of you. No happy ending here, I'm afraid.
Just leave me alone.
Fool. You always were.
Alright, if you're interested in doing an achievement check, we should have 9 out of 14 for 600 gamer score. From here on out, we just need to pick up a few things to progress the story. So from the roller coaster, go down the steps. Directly in front of you at the bottom, you should find a flashlight. Make sure you pick it up. You do need it to progress the story, or else you can't enter certain areas. That should unlock an achievement for you. Then go through the exit to the left and up the hill. From then on there, I will explain exactly what we need to do.
Finger marks. Someone has been hurting him. I've asked him, demanded really, to know where he got the marks. But he doesn't want to answer me. Something has scared him into silence. He doesn't dare talk. He's been changing too. Something sinister lurks in the darkness behind his eyes. I catch him staring at me at odd moments. In the night, he tosses and turns and cries out words that I cannot understand. When I try to soothe him, he snaps and bites at my fingers. I think he wants to talk to me. I think he wants to tell me. But they are watching him every minute of every day. They are whispering to him in his sleep, changing him.
Alright, so as we go into, what is that called? Slideshow Alley. Directly in front of us, you'll see this, I think it's a shooting range or a dollhouse or something. There's a newspaper. Make sure you read it to get the Killer Instinct achievement. I just picked it up and dropped it. It might have been real quick, so you might not have seen that. From there, we can sprint to the left. Go behind this little house in an alley. You'll see that there's like a sign here with lights on it. And there's a corpse. Examine the corpse. It'll kind of make you look in. And then after you look into it, press A again to look out of it. Turn around. Bam! Jump scare. And from here on out, now we can go to the very middle of this circular alley. And there is a cart with some pills on it. So go to that cart and take those pills.
These are mine.
Alright, now we wake up in this weird looking room. There's this 1980s sign on that same door side. There's an open door. Walk through it. And then you'll notice all this stuff happening. Turn right. And you'll notice that there's like an open archway. If you go Does this guy not let us through? Okay, never mind. You gotta go run a loop. The first time I ran the loop and I was like, oh, that's not very efficient of my time. So you do have to run back to where you kind of came from and run a loop around the alley. And then you can go through this arch. That's a little inconvenient, but I guess that's the way the game is designed, is you're supposed to see your son run away. Now a cinematic will start, and I'll rejoin you after.
Oh God, no.
So notice there is 2 achievements left. All you want to do once you wake up is go forward and follow the path until you see like the House of Horrors or whatever it's called. It's the big mansion with the big face as the door, and go inside.
And the park has little cars designed specifically to simulate that action. Hear the children scream with joy. In the sideshow alley, you can walk away with 15 cents worth of mass-produced Chinese teddy bears, while a grinning carny pockets your hard-earned $5. What secrets lie beneath the sullen waters of the lake? The tears of jilted lovers, the soiled condoms of illicit affairs, the clotted blood of the lonely suicide. And the face of the witch looms over it all. I always despised her toothy grin and warty nose. I hate that sparkle in her weathered, watchful eyes. I think Callum is waiting for me inside.
actually only have like maybe 5 to 8 minutes left in the entire game. So it looks like it's a sub 40-minute completion based on my timer here, which is going to be good news for a lot of gamerscore whores like myself. The game's, I think, $12.99 when it first came out, and I think it was on sale the first week. It's probably going to go on sale at some point in the future as well. It's actually not a terrible game for what it is in terms of like a super linear horror storytelling game. It's not a great game by any means, but it's not bad either. Once you make it into the house is extremely linear. Just continue forward and follow the halls. You might get a little bit lost. There's like a couple of small little like rooms that are completely useless, but for the most part it's really hard to get lost in here. Just keep following the path of least resistance. Follow along with the video if you don't want to make any mistakes. Point, you'll see like a mirror and then a room with a curtain in front of you. Don't go in that room, just turn right, and then you'll notice that there's like a wolf with more mirrors, and just follow the mirrors through the halls. If you don't want to make any mistakes, I mean, you kind of have to go here anyways, so it's not too difficult by any means. Just trying to save you the time. At this point, you turn through here and just keep following the hall. You might get spooked out a little bit by some of the jump scares. You'll see a door. I believe we go through this door to progress. Correct. Alright, and then you'll see a dude come in front of you, and he'll go through a door with a big mouth on it. And inside that door, we basically have PT from PlayStation. It's like a series of hallways that loops. Every time you go through it, it's a little different. You have to do this loop between 5 or 6 times. There's a lot of doors, but all of them are completely useless. Just keep going forward through that door I just went through, and then go all the way to the end of the hall where you'll find an exit door. If you want to participate in the story, feel free to pick up everything along the way and you know, examine stuff, try to learn about the backstory, and actually engage yourself in the game. But otherwise, continue forward to the exit. The exit starts the loop all over. Like I said, there's 5 or 6 loops, and only one loop has a unique door that you have to go through that's not this same path. It's mandatory, you'll come to it, and yeah, it's not a big deal.
My father, coldly assessing me and finding me lacking. I devoted myself to Callum and did the things that they told me. It will get better, they said. Every day will be a little better than the last. I'm in the woods now, lost and afraid. Things never got any better.
So on our 3rd time through, the exit door is already open on itself. Too spooky for me. On the 4th loop, I think this is the loop that you have to kind of go through a different door. There's babies being hung from the ceiling. As you enter the kitchen, we'll see as it happens. It's my 2nd time playing the game, so it's not completely memorized. As you go forward, this door shuts in front of you. Open the door right next to the fridge and go inside. At this point, the door will close behind you. It's going to be really dark on the screen for you guys, but Essentially, you just wait for, I don't know, I'd want to say like 15 seconds, and the door will just open behind you. Just keep spinning and looking around. Your controller will vibrate a bunch, and just keep trying to open the doors, and the door will open behind you, and then continue through the loops. After doing that hallway thing 5 times total, you'll exit and it'll essentially be like a library type thing. This is basically like the end of the game we're coming up on right here. Just follow down the stairs, down here. If you have your headset plugged in, just follow the sound of the music. Through here, you'll notice that there's some boarded up, like a boarded up door. There's a gramophone and like a radio and some newspapers. You can read them if you want, but you don't have to. Continue forward, you'll notice that there's a room and there's no way out. So to continue the story, just interact with the book on the desk. That'll open the door directly behind you, which is a trap door. Fall down the hall, and that is the end of the game. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. Feel free to drop a like if you found the video helpful. I would appreciate that like. Share the video with your friends if they might be doing the game as well. Hopefully you subscribe so you catch my future content. If you like my videos a lot, consider supporting me on Patreon. Special shout out to Hair and Giggles as well as DocCupcake84 for doing so. And yeah, see you guys next time. Peace!
Hey, Lorraine. Lorraine. Don't blame yourself, Lorraine. People lose things all the time. Take a deep breath and think about the last place you saw your son.
In my heart and mind, I always return to Atlantic Island Park.